Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you remember from our previous video, we made this top which has princess seam details at the center as well as at the shoulder. So in this video we are going to continue with the bottom part of this blouse where we are going to attach the peplum. Now let us come back to our drawing. We are going to have a piece of peplum at the bottom, at the back, and at the front we are going to have two pieces. This one at the bottom and these two at the top of the bottom one. Again, remember the pattern that we made. I have linked that video in the description box below, but remember we had three patterns. We had the back piece with seam at the back or at the center back. Then we have two pieces for the front, the bottom one, and we have this one at the top, and there are going to be two of them. Now let us talk about the choice of the fabric. For our back peplum, this one we are going to use the black fabric, and the front bottom piece we are also going to use the black fabric. But for these two top pieces of the front we will use the other fabric. So now let us start to cut our fabric. We are going to start with our back pattern and we are going to cut 4 pieces. So here are the 4 pieces for our back pattern. Now let us continue with the front pattern. Remember, this one is going to be on fold, and instead of 1 piece we are going to cut 2 pieces. So again, let us cut our fabric. So here are the pieces for our front. We have 2 of them. Now let us move to our last piece. We need to cut fabric for this pattern, but we are going to have some changes. Our fabric or our material cannot accommodate the size of this pattern. So we need to reduce the length up to here maybe, so that our fabric can accommodate this size. So as you can see, this is the only material left. You can see it is very small, and if we take our pattern, there is no way we are going to have 2 pieces. It cannot fit for 2 pieces with this size. So I decided to reduce the height. I was thinking maybe up to here. So when we reduce it, it will accommodate the size of our fabric. So that is where I was thinking maybe that's the place where we can reduce it, or where it can end, and we will, you see, somehow so we are going to have only the above piece and we will throw away the bottom piece. So I'm going to measure 2 inches from the bottom of our pattern, as you can see. Then take the curved ruler and redraw the line. Remember, this line down here, it is not straight. So here at the corner, take your curved ruler and redraw. Then add 0.5 inches of seam allowance all around. After that, cut the end of your pattern. Now pin your pattern to the fabric and start to cut your pattern. Because our fabric was not big enough, we are going to use the black fabric to cut the second pieces for this pattern. So here we have our 3 peplum pieces, our front, the back pieces, and the other front piece. But we are going to start with our back piece. So we are going to start with our back, remove the pins and the pattern. I have already attached pins at the center back. We are going to sew at the center back. And then we will join these 2 pieces at the bottom. Now I have already sewn and ironed. Now I have put the 2 pieces side to side. Remember, right side facing each other, you see. Now put the pin. Continue to put the pins up to the end, and then on the other side too. Now iron the seam so that it stays flat, and then turn inside out and iron. So just like that, and continue to iron. Now the next step, we are going to sew at the top so that this seam can stay flat. Then lastly, make sure that you iron both sides, and repeat the same process for our bottom front piece. So here are the peplum pieces, they are ready. Take your top part of your blouse, here it is. This is your back of the top, and this is the front of the top. Now let us start to attach our peplum pieces. So remember, the side where it has the seam will be on the bottom, and that one without the seam will be on top. So this is how you're going to attach it, making sure your side of the seam is at the top. And now turn your peplum like that and attach it to the top part. And for the back, we are going to do the same. Remember, our back has the center back seam, and so is our top piece. Make sure the center back align each other. Center back of the top and center back of the peplum. Attach them first. So we have already attached the whole back peplum. When you turn it, it will going to look like this. Making sure the side with the seam, the peplum side, is down. And now do the same for the front. But before that, we need to take care of the other pieces of the front. Remove the pins. This is the wrong side of the fabric. And that is the right side of the fabric. Make sure the right side are facing each other, like I did. And now taking your 2 pieces, sew from the top up to the bottom. Do not sew at the waist or the side. Iron the seam like we did before. Then take your scissor at the corners, at the curve, cut small cuts so that your seam can lay flat. turn it inside out and then iron. We are done here. Now it is time to join our pieces to our top piece. So here is our front. Let us take our pieces. This is our right piece. So they are going to be placed on top of the bottom front piece like this. Just make sure the side seam align well and put pins. Also make sure they align well at the waist and put first the pins. And do the same for the other part or other side too. So after you have attached these front pieces, the next step will be to join now your peplum piece with your top piece. As you can see here, make sure they align well. So here I'm trying to make sure that they aligned well before I start sewing. Now I'm putting the pin and put the pins all over, then start to sew. So you can see this is how it will look like after we have finished attaching. When you turn it, it will look like this. Okay, so now we are going to sew.